wonderful wisdom that God has given you to be able to see that wisdom and knowledge that He's given you.
Well, it took a long time and a lot of work, and of course, as you pointed out, coming over here to the studio this morning, thousands of major battles that I've fought. I've had to sue the FDA 8 times, federal agency that licenses things like pharmaceuticals, that make sure the labels are correct and you're not overstating what the product will do and so forth, defrauding people and so forth. And I had to sue them. I'm one of the people who sued the FDA to get folic acid in prenatal vitamins to prevent spina bifida and neurotube defects. I was the only guy who sued the FDA to be able to say that thrombotic stroke, or you get a blood clot in the brain, or coronary thrombosis, or pulmonary embolism, is not caused by bad cholesterol or cholesterol, too much cholesterol. Is caused by a deficiency of omega-3 essential fatty acids, or a ratio problem between omega-3, 6s, and 9s. Totally preventable in advance. You can take these things, you can live to be 120 and never get a stroke. I don't care if everybody in your family's had a stroke, you'll never get a stroke if you take these omega-3s.
So Dr. Wallace, how did it turn out? You say you went to actually had them to go before the courts.
Yes, federal
to be able to
courts.
say that. What was the end result? What was the findings?
Well, I prevailed. I won.
You won?
I won in every one of those.
You won each time?
Yes, ma'am. 8 times.
Praise God.
Another one was you can prevent certain cancers with a trace mineral selenium. 82% prevention,
selenium.
Yes, selenium, a trace mineral. That's one of my lawsuits. And then there's another one, you can reduce the risk of cancers by the supplementation with antioxidants, which neutralize free radical damage. Free radicals are more dangerous than any chemicals the Dow Chemical and Monsanto would make, and everybody's worried about those kind of chemicals. But by frying our foods, we kill all of our priests and our pastors with love by giving them fried chicken after church every Sunday. Okay?
Yeah,
and so these are the sort of things I learned, and that was very, very exciting. And then Yerkes and Emory University fired me. They said, "Wallach, you must be sniffing glue. Everybody knows cystic fibrosis is genetic. It can't be a simple deficiency." So I said, "Well, it is." And do I get to defend my findings, my research, like a PhD student when he's speaking to the awards committee? He's got to defend his research to this committee to make sure it's right before they publish his PhD thesis. I said, don't I get the same courtesy to have my research defended to a committee like this? They said, we'd be a laughingstock if we brought a committee together to see if your research saying that cystic fibrosis is a nutritional deficiency during pregnancy rather than genetic. No, we're not going to, you're fired. I think, why, God, you brought me down this trail. Why did I get fired here? Well, why did Jesus get crucified? For a greater cause.
Amen.
And so what I did, I went back to school and became a primary care physician. As a naturopathic physician licensed in Portland, Oregon, and California. I've been licensed in Oregon for 36 years, and in California since they've been licensing naturopathic physicians, which is about 8 years, I think. And it's very exciting because I've been treating people like dogs for 36 years. Sister Sue, but they get better. That's my patients always say, well, Doc will treat you like a dog, but you get better. And so I began to use all these principles that I'd learned in the agricultural industry, laboratory animal industry, and doing all these autopsies with the Center for the Biology of Natural Systems, which is the National Institutes of Health. Also figured out the cause, prevention, and cure of muscular dystrophy in children. And I gave that information to Jerry Lewis 5 years ago. I said, Jerry, we don't want any money from the Muscular Dystrophy Foundation because we already spent the money, the time, we already know what it is. We just want to know, do you guys want to be the one to make the announcement the cure's been found? You know, Jerry's kids, the telethon, you're the one that's more than earned the right to be the one to make the announcement. He got excited. He took it to the Muscular Dystrophy Association, the MDA, and they fired Jerry Lewis.
Oh,
that's why he hasn't done the telethon for the last 5 years.
But Doc Wallace, why?
Well, because there's no law requiring them to cure you when there's a cure available. They all want to
Going
treat you.
back to that again.
Yes, they all want to treat you for long periods of time. And they all learned a lesson. All of these foundations that raise money, they're nonprofit agencies, they learned something from the March of Dimes. Right now, it's the March of who?
Oh.
Okay, because once they found the vaccination for polio, their prominence went to zero. When they were looking for the cure or prevention with something, to prevent this disease in kids or cure this disease in kids, they had every little kid in America knocking on doors getting dimes a little card. It wasn't government funding. It wasn't funding by doctors and hospitals. It wasn't funding by big corporations. There was little kids knocking on doors because they got into it. That God raised an army of kids. Bring me the children. And all these little kids were knocking on doors getting dimes to raise money for the research when they found vaccination for polio.
Thanks be to God, though, that they found what it was that caused it, and to be able to cure it.
Yes,
You know?
and to prevent it.
Yeah.
But then the March of Dimes, their prominence went to zero. We didn't need them anymore because they hung their hat on that one disease. Okay. Well, now here comes all these other agencies. Wait a minute, we don't want to be like the March of Dimes. You find the cure of cystic fibrosis, we can't raise any more money to find the cure because we already have the cure. We're done. And so that scares them. They don't want to find the cure.
So that's why we haven't heard a lot about vitamins and minerals and how it helps not only heal, but helps health, that people don't even need healing. That's
right.
why we don't hear a lot about that.
That's right, because the medical system for 100 years has been a protected monopoly, self-policing, no oversight by any agency. Now here comes the terrible figure. This figure comes from the Center for Disease Control, federal agency that tracks this stuff. I was in Atlanta, Georgia. I spent a lot of time there since the Yerkes Primary Center was very close. And also from the Institute of Medicine, which is the ethics watchdog for the medical profession. And the Institute of Medicine has failed the American public terribly, because they should be all over the medical system for not curing diseases that are curable, okay? For being the only ones to get paid by insurance. And so even though it's the wrong treatment, that's where people go because it's for free. They perceive it as being for free.
And yet it's free to them, but it's being paid for by the government, isn't it?
That's right, who get taxes from us. Okay, now, and also from the Journal of the American Medical Association. Now, this is not a 100-year accumulation of information. This is a yearly figure. It was a full-page article in USA Today, February 5th, 2007. I give that exact date because people say that figure cannot be true. It says, yes, it is. It was a full-page article in the USA Today newspaper, February 5th, 2007. So everybody can go look it up. Okay? The figure is this, Sister Sue. Each year in America, medical doctors kill, injure, and infect 15 million of their patients in their workplace every year. Each year in America, medical doctors kill, injure, and infect 15 million patients in their clinics and hospitals, and they get a walk.
Now, wait a minute, Dr. Wallace. You're saying 15 million?
15 million. Now, if a foreign country were to do that, say North Korea or Iran were to send over intercontinental ballistic missile with biological weapons and kill, injure, and infect 15 million Americans, we declare war on them. Here's one profession that does it in their workplace every year, been doing it for 100 years. They don't even get an OSHA ticket. I actually went to OSHA, the offices in Washington, D.C., and asked to make a complaint. And they looked at the complaint because they gave me a form. They said, oh, we can't help you. I said, what do you mean? You're killing and injuring 15 million people in their workplace every year. What do you mean you can't help me? Well, we only deal with employers and employees, not customers and businesses.
Right. But, going back to what God has done and is doing, I mean, I just praise God that He's given the answer.
Yes.
He's given the answer.
The answer is here, Sister Sue.
Praise God that He has to all these different sicknesses and diseases. That's a promise of God. That's why Jesus died on Calvary's cross, that we might bring health, healing, and well-being to the people. And I was sharing with you, Dr. Wallace, this morning when we were on the way over here to the studio, that excuse me, that here God has promised us that through His precious Son Jesus. To give us health, healing, and well-being. And I can understand healing because I pray for people and other people pray for people being healed.